Hello, welcome to the first part of my Second Life scripting tutorial. In this first part we're going to find out what scripts are, why they're useful, and how to make your first script in Second Life. Before we begin, a word of warning: when I should say inventory, I actually say inventory. I suck, I know, but there we go. So if you hear inventory, think inventory. So, Second Life. The great thing about Second Life is you can create your own content. Everything in Second Life is made by other players or yourself. You can make clothes, objects, toys, pets, robots, buildings, entire regions and sims, anything you like. You can see this is my junkyard where I work on random bits. This is me, hello. My little avatar with a funny bunny hat. And this is where I work in my junkyard, and this is where I'm going to be doing my tutorial videos. So what could we script? Well, you might want to make objects. I mean, these are all objects in front of us, and most of these are scripted. Or you could make heads-up displays, which could be things like, if I bring this in, you can see I've got my animation overrider here. This is a HUD. Or I've got my hugger. Or you might have a dance HUD or anything like that. They're heads-up displays, and they're scripted. Or you might want to make attachments like this hat I've got on here. Quite often when you buy shoes, they will have scripted resize scripts in them for resize dialogues. That's all scripts as well, and it's dead easy to put scripts into attachments or heads-up displays or any objects you want. So Second Life has some really simple building tools in the viewer software already, and this is what I make all these things with. I mean, these are just cubes that I've shaped and added a texture to. It's not particularly complicated. I'm not a great builder against vendors that are just cubes that are misshapen a little bit. And then I'll buy full perm mesh things. It's the other way of making stuff in 3D programs, and I'm no good with 3D programs, so I'll buy full permission mesh objects from other creators, and I'll script them myself. And you can see mesh looks an awful lot better. You've got these lovely shapes here that you can create with mesh. This is just a flickering texture. You've got all these sort of mesh shapes here, and these are mesh as well. Actually, these look quite nice. You could make these with prims or basic objects, but they're not going to look quite as good. And these mesh ones look really good, I think. Either way, if you're building it with the building tools within the viewer, or if you're using a 3D program, anything you make it's not going to do anything. It's just going to sit there. All this stuff just sits here until we add scripts, and scripts are the bits that make it dynamic. That's what makes stuff happen. If you want your objects to do things, maybe simple doors that open and close when you click on them, or tip jars like I do here that say thank you when someone pays them, right through to animated talking pets like Miru's, or games like Zilch from Ember Games. All these things are made with interactive all these things are made interactive with scripts of varying complexity. What is a script? Well, it's not rocket science or voodoo. A script is like a note card. Let me wander over here so there's no clutter. A script is like a note card. You can edit it in Second Life just by double clicking on it, and it will open up in a window. But instead of writing in plain English, we need to write a series of computer instructions to tell Second Life how we expect the object to behave. When the script is placed inside an object, the Second Life simulator or the Second Life server, it will run those instructions and make stuff happen. So it will make objects move, or it will talk in chat, or whatever needs to happen. So nice and easy. How do we make a script? There's a couple of ways of making a script. The first is in your inventory. Got it. But scripts can't compile or run in your inventory, so there's not much use in working in your inventory with scripts. You can't test it or do anything with it. So I wouldn't recommend that at all. The second place to do it is directly into an object. So we can create an object, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to right click on the ground, click on create, and here I've got my create window and a range of all the different shapes that I can make. I'm going to stick with a basic cube. I'm going to click on the ground, and there it is. There's my cube. You can see the cube is selected, and this window here changes into the edit dialog. So instead of being the create dialog, which is this tab, it moves over to the edit dialog. You can see it's just called object. It's made by me. And if I click on the contents tab, I can see stuff that is inside this object. And there's a nice big shiny new script button. I'm going to click that, And there it is. We've made our first script, nice and easy. The script by default, I'll show you in a second actually. Let me rename this script. So I'll right click, rename tutorial part 1, press enter, and then to edit the script I just double click on it. Nice and easy, and this is the script window that comes up. So you can see it's kind of like a note card, but we've got a few more options here for doing clever stuff with scripts. There's already stuff in here. Yes, there is. The script, when you create a new script by default, it has instructions. It has a bunch of instructions in there already. You can see it does two things. When it enters the world, it will say hello avatar, and it will say that in local chat. So if I bring up my local chat window, you can see here it says hello avatar, and you can see the previous attempts at doing this video. And the second thing is if I touch the prim, so if I right click and touch, bring up the local chat, you can see it says touched, as you'd expect with this command here. Nice and easy. And that's a script. So if I wanted to change the script, I just drop the cursor somewhere and type away. To save a script, there's two ways. I can click the little save icon up here, or I can press Ctrl and S, and that will save the script, which I've just done there. It takes a little while to upload it to the server, and then I'll get one of two things happen. Either the script is fine, there's no errors, I haven't broken anything or made any mistakes, and the script will say OK, and it will just start running, and that's good. The other thing that could happen is that I've made a mistake, which is exactly what I've done here by typing gibberish, and it says error, syntax error. It doesn't understand my syntax, my language. It's saying what on earth are you talking about? So I'll go ahead, I'll delete this line here, and again I'll press Ctrl S. It takes a little while, and it will say save completed. There we go, save complete. And that means the script is now up on the server and it's running. It's doing what it's told. So again, if I go into nearby chat, you can see again it said hello avatar. This is the new version of the script running right here. Easy. A few more tools that you'll want to use probably on a regular basis. If your script breaks for any reason, you can reset it by clicking this reset button. Excuse me, or there's another reset button here when I'm editing an object. If I want to stop the script from running, if it's spamming local chat or it's spamming me with dialog boxes or it's flying off into the sunset, I can untick running and the script will immediately stop whatever it's doing. It will just give up and won't do anything until I click that again, and then it will start running again. Mono you don't need to know, just leave that ticked, that's fine. There's a few options in there. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's much else. What I will say though is sometimes SecondLife being what it is, the inventory server will forget scripts. It will lose them. They'll disappear off into the ether somewhere. And if you spent hours working on a script, and this has happened to me twice in my career now, and it's really horrible, it will just lose all your work. It's gone forever. And it's an absolute nightmare. When you go to edit a script, instead of having this dialog box pop up, you'll just get an error message saying can't find the script. If you spent hours, it's a nightmare. So what I'll do quite often is I'll either highlight it with my mouse, or I'll press Ctrl and A, and that selects all, and then press Ctrl C to copy it into my clipboard. And then what I can do, I can just use any old text editor like this one I've got here, and I can just paste in the code that I'm working on, and I've always got a backup then. And if SecondLife decides to lose a copy of the script, it doesn't matter, I can just create a new script and paste in my last copy. So I would say that if you're working on a script for longer than 20 minutes or whatever, make a backup, keep a copy, because SecondLife will lose it. It just happens, it just does. C'est la vie. So that's the basics of scripting. There's not a lot else to cover, I don't think. You can take copies of scripts into your inventory, and then you can put them into other objects as well. If you buy scripted objects from other people and you try to open the script, quite often it will say that you don't have permissions to view the actual script. You have permissions to run it, and it's probably already running once you've bought the item, but you don't have permissions to edit it. Now the reason for that's fairly obvious. If I were to double click on someone else's script, obviously I could just go ahead and copy the whole thing, paste it into my object and resell it. They don't want that, obviously, and if you're editing your own scripts, you don't want other people to do that. So here I can right click, I can go to properties, I get my little properties window, and I can say here, next owner, should they be able to modify it? No. Should they be able to copy it? Maybe, yes. Transfer? Maybe not, no. But probably wouldn't send it as modifiable. Anyway, that's the basics of getting a script in there and opening a script up, and hopefully the basics of what scripting is. I hope you found it useful. In part 2 we're going to start actually writing scripts, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get part 2. I'm only really going to be talking about Second Life scripting, so you won't get loads of junk in your feed or anything. If you've got any questions or any comments, please leave a comment on the video. That's great. Thanks for your time.